Hello there, this is the Shadow Ranger. Not a whole lot of wrestling topics I really want to talk about this week. So I'm just going to answer one quick question and talk about a subject regarding AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels' current storyline on Impact, and some thoughts on where I would personally like to see this storyline go. But first, I got a question sent to me this morning from Black Rock 316. He says, I've always thought AJ Styles is missing something when he was TNA's top guy, because I can't think of any memorable promos he cut in the past as a heel or face. I don't know if he sells merchandise. What do you think is wrong with AJ Styles, and how would you make him a marketable character for TNA? You don't remember any memorable promos because he hasn't really cut any. AJ has never been a strong promo guy. He's not a talker. He never has been. He can cut a promo good enough to get the point across and say what he has to say without screwing up, but he's not that great talker, great promo guy you ever seen. AJ's a common guy. He's a great wrestler, and if you want to talk about AJ being marketable, you just be who he is. He's the common man. AJ's gimmick should be that he isn't flashy, but that he's just the best wrestler. I've always thought that should be his gimmick. That AJ's gimmick should be, I'm not the greatest talker. I don't look like $1,000,000. I'm not the biggest, buffest looking guy, but I can get in that ring and do things that no other man can do. I am simply the best wrestler in the world. I don't have to look. I may not look like $1,000,000, but I am better than that. He can be the common man. Talk about his family. Play up his, his Christianity and him with his kids. Be more of the common man. I think that could work. I think I think they've never really played up that aspect of AJ. Play up the fact that he's a father. Play up the fact that he's a family man. Play up the fact that he's married. He has, I think 3 sons, and play that up. He should be the wholesome guy. That's why this current thing with him and Dixie Carter works so well, because you would never think of AJ as being a guy who's sleeping with the boss, sleeping his way to the top. He's a family man. That's why it makes him look bad. But now they proved that it isn't on Impact. I'm gonna talk more about that later. I think the problem with AJ is they've never just marketed AJ as who he is. A great, the common man, the average guy, kind of like what Magnum TA was back in the 80s. Of course, Magnum TA was a pretty good promo guy, though, so it's hard to say. As far as a problem with AJ, he's just not a really charismatic promo guy. It's not him, and he doesn't need to be. He should let his ring work speak for him. That's what they've done with him for years, and they should just focus on that. He's never been a good promo guy, but he's done all right for himself. So my thing with AJ is that should be it. I don't look like a star, but I can beat all the stars. Think of it like this. AJ's character should be, I don't look like John Cena, but in a ring, I'll kick his ass. That way. Let me move on. So, getting to the topic I want to talk about today. So, yesterday on Impact, we had the reveal about AJ and Dixie Carter and what they've been doing. And what they revealed is that hasn't been a affair with them, that AJ and Dixie have been actually working together to help their friend. Their friend was a woman who's had problems, drug problems, and they've been helping her with her issues. And all this stuff they've been together was them working to helping her. There is no affair between them, and all this stuff that Daniel's trying to claim about them is untrue. And I got an idea of where they could go with this, and it would be a really, really, really long-term storyline. But I don't know if the idea I have is where they would go, so I'm kind of going to do a little miniature fantasy booking with this and where I would like to see them go. But first, to understand where I want to go with this, I'm going you to watch this video clip. This video clip is from a show from 2009 called Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. if any of you are familiar with the Kamen Rider series, it's a long-running superhero show in Japan. In 2009, they did an American version of Kamen Rider, and called Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. And this is a scene from that show. Now, I'm gonna show you two pictures of two characters. This first guy here holding the badge looks human, but in the character, he is actually an alien. He's called Xaviax. He has conquered a world, and he's trying to conquer Earth. And there's a hero who's not in this scene who's trying to stop him. And what Xaviax does throughout this show is that this character is Chris. He is a Marine. And in this scene, Xaviax, the evil alien, takes human form, and he manipulates Chris into fighting for him. What he's going to do in the later episodes, that he gets Chris to fight the hero for him. And he does this to several other characters throughout the show. So I want you to watch this clip from the show, and then I'm going to talk about how this relates to AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. It's about a 3-minute clip. Enjoy.
4 generations of Ramirez men have served this country, Chris. No son of mine is going to break that tradition.
No, sir. I won't, sir.
Well, spit it out, Doc.
Son, your asthma's grown too advanced. You won't be able to perform your duties. I'm sorry.
Run the tests again. There's nothing wrong with my son.
Sergeant Ramirez, I know this is hard, but the
tests are wrong.
He'll be getting a full medical discharge.
Sir. Please, sir, you can't do this to me. I want to serve my country, sir.
There are still many ways you can do that, son.
The Ramirezes are Marines. They have always been Marines!
Dad.
Siéntate, hijo. I will handle this.
Private Ramirez? Got a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Special Agent Simons.
I heard about the discharge, son. That's tough. But as they say, when one door closes, another one opens.
Sir, I don't mean to be rude, but I really don't need a pep talk right now.
It's no pep talk, son. This is a job offer. Now, I work for a clandestine governmental organization, and you are just exactly the kind of young man we're looking for. What I'm about to reveal can never be repeated. Not even to your father. Do you agree to this?
Yes, sir.
Good. Take this.
What was that thing?
That's right. You didn't imagine it. Chris, the United States of America, and in fact, our very planet Earth, has been invaded by creatures from another dimension. They want to take away our rights and destroy our way of life. But with that, you and a very select group of other dedicated young men and women can help us defeat them.
Yes, sir. It would be an honor to serve my country, sir.
Good for you. Welcome aboard.
Alright, so there's the end of the clip. Now the gist of this clip is Chris is a Marine, and being a Marine is very important to him, but as you can see, he has really bad asthma, and he's been told that he won't be able to serve. It's important to him to serve his country, so now he gets this offer to being told that aliens are attacking America and that the government wants him to join up and fight them. Seeing as it's being a Marine and serving his country is important to him, he jumps at the chance, not knowing that he's really helping the bad guys, not the good guys. He's helping the bad guy, but thinks he's helping the good guy. And if you're wondering, in later episodes, he learns the truth, but eventually he gets defeated and beaten. But it's a good show. If you ever want to watch it, you can check it out on YouTube. So you have this villain, Xaviax. And what he's done is he's manipulated Chris into fighting him. He's manipulated this guy into fighting the hero for him. And I want to take this concept that he uses throughout this show and apply it to Christopher Daniels. So this is going to be a little bit of fantasy booking, so I need to give my disclaimer first. I am in no way saying that I can write or book wrestling better than the writers or bookers of any wrestling organization. These opinions are mine and mine alone, and only represent something that I would personally find entertaining. Now, I want to apply this concept to AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. And if you at your, well, I'm about to say if you're at your computer, of course you would be if you're watching this video on YouTube, open up a separate window and go to the TNA roster page for me, because I'm going to come back to that in just a second. I want to apply this concept to Christopher Daniels. So we've had this whole thing with Christopher Daniels. He's gotten these pictures and videos and recorded phone conversations of AJ. We can just say like he has a private investigator that got it for him. And he's made people think that AJ has been having an affair with Dixie Carter. He's sleeping his way to the top. And because of this, Kazarian, who was AJ's close friend, and turned on him and sided with Daniels and helped Daniels try to get rid of him, take him out. We know that Daniels is jealous of AJ. We learned all that started up last year. They had their big I Quit match at Bound for Glory. Daniels literally tried to stab AJ with a screwdriver. He hit AJ with everything he has, but AJ kept coming back and made Daniels say I quit. Daniels is jealous. He's never truly been able to beat AJ Styles. He's never been a world champion the way AJ Styles is. AJ Styles is pretty much seen as the face of the company, and he isn't. And he wants to take AJ Styles out. And since he couldn't do it alone, he wanted to recruit help to do it. And where the angle I want to go with is this. Daniels knew all along that there was no affair between AJ Styles and Dixie Carter. He set this up to get Kazarian to help him. He knew that he wouldn't be able to talk Kazarian into siding with him and taking out AJ. He needed to manipulate Kazarian into siding with him and taking out AJ. And this was his plan to do it. So you want to do the big reveal that that Daniels knew all along there was no affair. And I would say AJ exposes him by turning the tables on him, saying he hired a private investigator and got a recording of one of Daniels' phone conversation. In the phone conversation, Daniels is talking to somebody, and in the conversation he admits that he knew all along that there was no affair, that he just did it to trick Kaz into joining with him. Which now Kaz is royally pissed off and wants to take out Daniels. Why? Because you tricked me. You manipulated me. You tricked me into turning on my best friend. AJ is one of my best friends, and you tricked me into turning on him, Daniels. And so now Kaz is pissed, and you do a short feud between Kaz and Daniels. Daniels, for this angle to work, is going to need some cronies. You can get a few, indie guys, maybe some OVW dudes, whoever you want. Put them in some black, just dress them in black, and you call them Daniels like personal security or something like that. Also, if you can find a really big dude that can be like his bodyguard, that'll help with this angle too. And this is going to be a long-term angle. How the angle is going to work is Daniels, over several months, in his attempts to get rid of AJ, is going to manipulate different people into fighting AJ for him. Playing on their hopes, playing on their fears, playing on their greed, their desire, whatever it is. Daniels is going to be the master manipulator, constantly manipulating people into taking out AJ for him. Sometimes he'll use manipulation like he did with Kaz. Some people who offer money to. He couldn't offer Kaz money to take out AJ because Kaz is a good dude and he's one of AJ's closest friends. He would have turned it down. That since he knew that Kaz wouldn't, turn on AJ for money, he put together this entire intricate plot of making Kaz think and making everybody else think that AJ was doing something evil, and that's how he get people to try to convince people to turn on AJ. It worked with Kaz, but now he's been exposed. Eventually, he has a couple matches with Kaz. Kaz wanting to get revenge on Daniels for tricking him. And afterwards, Daniels with his goons, his bodyguard, they eventually beat down Kaz, and you run an injury angle with Kaz being off TV for a little while. Let me get some drink here. Swallow the grape juice here. And that's going to be how this story goes for several months until finally Daniels is running out of people to manipulate, faces AJ one-on-one. I would do it as some type of maybe like career match where AJ beats Daniels and retires him for good. You give Daniels his big comeuppance. So if you look at the roster page, you got several different people you can do things with. Gives people a reason to be on TV. How Daniels could go about manipulating different people into trying to take out AJ. He wants AJ's career ended, and he's going to manipulate different people into doing it. Some would be easy, like somebody like, for example, Alex Silva, who won the first gut check. You could easily see Daniels talking Alex Silva into like, you're a rookie, you want to make a name for yourself. You know, if you're the guy who takes out AJ Styles, you get instant respect. Everybody here is gonna fear you. Blah 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 blah. That'll be a reason to go after him. Austin Aries is somebody he might be able to manipulate a little bit. Might be a little tougher, but you know, longest reigning X Division champion. But you know, but talk about how AJ is still seen as the pioneer of the X Division, the first X Division champion. If you want to be considered the greatest X Division champion, you need to beat him. But eventually, trying to get people to put AJ down so that he can try to attack AJ himself and end his career. That's how the thing's gonna go. You got somebody like Crimson, who had this big undefeated streak, then gets beaten in record time by James Storm. He can manipulate Crimson just by saying, you know, if you want people to forget about that loss, you need to come back with something big. Taking out AJ will make everybody forget about you losing. You'll be seen as the most dominant guy in Impact Wrestling. That's your option. Gunner is a guy you can just do it with money. Couple guys you can just do with money, where he just offers somebody money to take out AJ. Gunner could be a guy who does that, tries to take out AJ for the money. If you want to, for a short term, well, I don't know if you can. I was gonna say Kevin Nash, but I think he has like that Legends deal with WWE where he can't appear, something like that. Actually, I think how it works is that he can appear, but they can't like sell any merchandise or on them. There's a deal behind it, but offering somebody else money to take out AJ, you got options like that. I thought of a really weird one for Garrett Bischoff. I know Garrett Bischoff's kind of chummy, but hear me out on this one. You know how they've been doing this thing with Madison Rayne, talking about some guy that's like she may have a crush on or something like that, and some people think it's gonna be Robbie E, but I think they should go with it being Garrett Bischoff. And go with this angle of Madison Rayne basically seducing Garrett Bischoff. He's a young kid. He's probably never had a girl who looks as hot as Madison Rayne. And she really lays it on thick, seducing him to he's going nuts over her. He's just madly in love with Madison Rayne after she seduces him. Madison somehow has to gets Garrett Bischoff to fight AJ. What she's gonna do, get in AJ's face, goad AJ into like try to hurt AJ, try to attack him, and then like fake a fall and try to make Garrett think that AJ hurt her. So Garrett's like in love with her. He's gonna go nuts and try to attack AJ, and then you later reveal that it was that she was just playing him. She didn't really like him. She did that because Daniels paid her to do that, to seduce Garrett so that he would get him to take out AJ, and that he did it for money too. So you got another enemy for Daniels. Now you notice the point we're going through is that as we do these manipulations, we're also racking up enemies for Daniels. But again, Garrett learns the truth. He tries to go after Daniels. Daniels has his goons and his bodyguard. They beat down Garrett. Garrett's done too. He's out for a while. Alright. Let's see. What am I looking at next here? Yeah, Gunner. And James Storm, Jeff Hardy. I'm gonna come back to Jeff Hardy in a minute. Who else I want to look at on here? Don't know if Matt Morgan's coming back yet. Sting is an option. Playing on Sting's sort of fear of age. And how I picture this is basically Sting, Daniels feeding Sting these lines about how that you're washed up. Everybody thinks you're too old to do it anymore. That's why they made you the first Hall of Famer. It's just their nice way of saying you're old, get lost. We don't want you around anymore. And Sting feeling bad because he doesn't want to accept that, age is caught up to him. That he's not just some old man that needs to be put out some old horse that needs to be put out the pasture. He's not ready to be sitting in a rocking chair yet, and he wants to prove that he's got some fire left in him, that he can still be as good as he ever was. And Daniels kind of feeds in his line about AJ's the guy you need to beat to prove that he's the face of this company. He's considered the best, and you've never really beaten him one-on-one. I don't think Sting has ever won a one-on-one match against AJ Styles. The only one I ever know them do going one-on-one was at Bound for Glory a couple years ago, but AJ won that. Let me know, has Sting ever beaten AJ Styles in a one-on-one match? If you can find any, let me know. Wait a minute. Matter of fact, hang on a second. Let me look real quick. I'm going to go to YouTube, type in AJ Styles versus Sting, and see what comes up. I hope I'm not talking too fast, because I worry about that when I make videos. I'm a very fast talking guy, and I worry that sometimes I talk too fast and y'all can't hear me here. Let's see. AJ Bound for Glory 2009. I'm not seeing any. No, I'm not seeing any matches of AJ Styles versus Sting. So you play with the fact that Daniels is telling Sting, you've never beaten Sting. He's the face of the company. He's the guy you need to beat to prove that you still got it. And Sting kind of buys into it. He's not going to try to take AJ out, but he does buy into the fact that him beating AJ would be his way of proving that he's not too old to wrestle, that he's still got that he's still got some fire in him. He's still got a last ride in him, And but Sting, Daniels would interfere in the match when Sting seems to be having the upper hand, and try to tell Sting to take AJ out, yelling at Sting, but Sting won't, Sting won't have his bat, and Daniels telling him to, to beat AJ down with it, and he won't do it. And when Sting refuses, Daniels, sticks his goons on him, and then Sting and AJ kind of fight him off and escape. But that's just another possibility again. But then if you want to, you have Daniels' goons later all jump Sting, beat down Sting. So every person Daniels manipulates into fighting AJ, everyone that fails, Daniels eventually has his own hired goons take them out, so that they don't turn on him. Let's see here. And I'm sure there's other plans you can come up with for, Daniels manipulating other people, because there'll be roster changes, people coming into the company, people going out of the company. Ooh, or what if Daniels were to somehow trick Sting into thinking that AJ was the one behind the attack on him? But I don't know how you would go about that, though. The point is, Daniels over the next several months trying to get rid of AJ manipulates different people into fighting AJ. Abyss is probably one you could do. How you would go about doing it with Abyss, I'm not sure, but you could probably also wouldn't be hard to get somebody like Bully Ray to go into it. anybody that AJ is outscoring in the Bound for Glory series. Kind of like how last year when Samoa Joe took out Crimson and that eliminated Crimson from the series, even though Crimson was in first place. You know, somebody who's ranked behind AJ and the series is coming to an end. Say like AJ is ranked like number in the top 4 and this guy's like number 5. He could tell the guy, you know, you take out AJ, he's out. That puts you in the top 4. So now that guy has a reason to try to take out AJ. Everybody is manipulated by Daniels in a different way. And eventually, what you eventually build up to months down the line is AJ versus Daniels in a career match. Basically, AJ finally tells Daniels, if you want it so bad, do it yourself. Face me in a match, and if you beat me, I'll retire. But if I win, you retire. If you want me gone so bad, put it on the line. You and me, one-on-one, loser retires. And AJ will eventually win. And how I would eventually do it is the match would end up being a lumberjack match. And what they do is they do some type of step where AJ before the match wins the right to choose the lumberjacks. You build up that stipulation. AJ somehow wins. You could do a match where it's like a surrogate type thing where AJ picks a guy to represent him, and Daniels picks a guy to represent him, and whoever guy wins, that guy gets to pick the lumberjacks. So then you show up to the pay-per-view, and AJ's in the ring, and Daniels is in the ring, and AJ calls out the lumberjacks, and the lumberjacks will be all the different people that Daniels manipulated over the course of the many months of this storyline. So Daniels is surrounded in a ring by a bunch of enemies. His career is on the line, and he finally gets his final comeuppance. AJ beats him, and Daniels is retired. That's the gist of this. I'd have to type this out to work out the story, the details, because I just thought of this yesterday. So, wow, I'm at 25 minutes. This was a long clip. That's kind of my thought process of this storyline, of where I would like to see it go, because the storyline's going on for several months already. You could build this up going, if with enough people, depending on how many people you're able to do decent feuds with of manipulation, this I think I could keep this angle going for several more months. This is what, end of June. Wow, it's already end of June. Boy, time flies. You know, July is my last month of teaching here in Korea, and I'm leaving. Anyway, we could probably get this out with July, August, September, October. No, I could probably carry this out to like January at least, when you finally build up to this. I wouldn't want to do a short version. I know people think Bound for Glory, but it's like, they would only give me what, July, August, September. They would only give you 3 months, and I think this story would work better if it's stretched out longer. Anyway, yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about in this particular video. So, leave me your thoughts about this particular idea, this particular angle that I presented here. Tell me what you think about it. And yeah, I think I'm good here. I was thinking if I wanted to say anything else, we'll put a clip at the end of this video, but I'm not. I'm just gonna leave it as fantasy bookings here. So, tell me what you think of this idea. Leave me comments, video responses if you like to. This is the Shadow Ranger. Thank you for listening. If you like my videos, please subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at TJSMITH3. Any questions or topics you'd like me to answer in the video, just send me a message and I will do so. Have a nice day.